Okay, people, welcome back to another video. Today what we're going to be covering is a very complicated topic at first. It's called estimating square roots. We're going to be estimating square roots using a number line. Now, we're not going to be exact. There's different methods of how to approximate square roots, but this method is not going to give you the exact answer. Again, we're just estimating. We're approximating. We want to see, if I give you, for example, the square root of 19, what will that equal to? Approximately what? Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing today. And I taught you through the number line method in class. Now, these are the square roots that you already know, from square root of 1 all the way to, I'm missing the square root of 196 and square root of 225. Okay, so you need to memorize these square roots, okay? It should be, it's like your times tables. You need to have those memorized. And in class today, I did tell some of you guys a couple of hints, such as when you get your paper, start writing down your square roots. It's easy to memorize. It's like 1 times 1, that's the square root of 1. 2 times 2, square root of 4. 3 times 3, square root of 9, and so forth. That's the first thing I told you guys. Write down your square roots, and that will always help you out. Okay, so now let's figure out some of the square roots. We're estimating some square roots. I'm going to do some problems that were assigned for homework. Lucky you. So if you're watching this video and you're actually doing your homework, I'm actually doing some of your homework problems. So let's go ahead and do square root of 19. Oh, that's what I had. Square root of 19. If I ask you what the square root of 19 is, some of you guys will be 9 times 2. But remember, a square root is what two numbers that are identical will give you 19. Well, in this case, yeah, 9 times 2 will work, but they're not the same. So you cannot use 9 times 2. Okay? Well, I'm sorry, that doesn't even make sense. 9 times 2 is 18. 1 times 19. Yeah, that's good, but those are two, they're not the same number. Okay, they have to be exactly the same number. Also, these are all the square roots that you know. Do you know what the square root of 19 is? It's not there. So whenever you cannot figure out the square root of a number, you have to use a number line approximation. Okay, so what I like doing is I draw my number line. Okay, I know the square root of 19 is right here. Okay, here we go. If you had the power to grab the square root of 19 and put it between some of these square roots, where would you put the square root, absolute value, see? I dropped the absolute value. Where would you put the square root of 19? If you had the power to put the square root in between the square roots that you already know, where would you put it? Hopefully you said right here, between the square root of 16 and the square root of 25. Okay, the square root of 19 is between the square root of 16 and the square root of 25. Well, duh, it's 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. That makes sense. Square root of 19 is between those two square roots. Now let's solve the square roots. The square root of 16 is 4. The square root of 25 is 5. Okay? So you know for sure that the square root of 19 is about 4 point something, right? Because your answer has to be between 4 and 5. Let's make this a little bit more clear. In between 4 and 5 is 4.5. And we represent 4.5 by 4.5. Okay. Do you notice that there's two sections of the number line? Okay. You have the left section of the number line and the right section of the number line. Okay. This is 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, 4.4. And this one is 4.5, 4.6, 4.7, 4.8, 4.9. Okay, it's basic number line skills. Now, you have the left section and the right section. In class, I kind of introduced it as two cities. City A, City B. This square root of 19 wants to be going to the city that it's closest to. Okay? What I mean by this is this. This is the square root of 16. How many spaces is square root of 16 away from 19? Hopefully you said 3. You just subtract these two numbers, right? From 19 to 25, how many spaces is that? Well, if you count, that's 1 plus 5, 6 spaces if you subtract them. So you want to go to the city that is closest. You want to go to the city that has the lowest number. Here you're going to have to walk 3 blocks. In this one you have to walk 6 blocks. So I would pick this side of the number line. This side of the number line. That's where I would go. So the answer for the square root of 19 is any of these numbers. So it could be, square root of 19 could be 4.1. Square root of 19 could be 4.2. The square root of 19 could be about 4.3. The square root of 19 can also be 4.4. Any of these answers are correct, okay? Because you're just approximating, you're estimating. And this is what we're doing. This is estimation. Now, let's use some common sense, though. Is the square root of 19 very, 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 very close to the square root of 16? It's not that, it's close, but it's not that close. So I wouldn't pick 4.1. 4.1 is like, you're really close. Square root of 17 will be like 4.1. So I would actually pick any of these two right here. 4.2, 4.3. Hey, if you do 4.4, hey, I'll take it. Again, we're just approximating. If you want to check your answer, you could just do 4.2 times 4.2. See what it gives you. Hopefully it gives you a number that's very close to the square root of 19. But for me, honestly, if you pick any of these numbers as your answer, I will accept it. But again, these are more reasonable answers. And that's how you estimate a non-perfect square root. Let's do another one. Let's do, this one. X squared equals 92. Oh my God, what did you just do? Okay, it's totally different from the last problem we did. It's a simple radical equation. I already went over how to solve radical equations in a previous video. So if you forgot, look at the video. Remember, this is a radical equation. This is an equation because it has an equal sign. This little 2 at the top is the exponent. We want to get rid of the exponent. We want to isolate the variable. So the inverse operation of an exponent is a radical or a square root. So we're going to do square root, square root. Exponent and the square root cancels out. X is all isolated. That's what we wanted. The square root of 92, that's what it's left. Now, do you know what the square root of 92 is? Nah, so when you don't know what here are the square roots that you know already, right here. 92 is not in this list. So what that means is you have to approximate, okay? It's okay, it's pretty easy. So let's draw a number line. Every time we approximate, we draw the number line. What two square roots? If I get the square root of 92, where would you put the square root of 92? If you had the power to put 92 in this list, where would you put it? In between what two numbers? Or what two perfect square roots? Well, it cannot be here. It's not between 1 and 4. It's not between 16 and 25. It's definitely not between 49 and 64. How about 81 and 100? Yeah, 92 is between 81 and 100. So, okay, so we have the square root of 81 and the square root of 100. Perfect. Square root of 81 is 9. Square root of 100 is 10. This is a number line. What's between 9 and 10? Hopefully you said 9.5. So ladies and gentlemen, the square root of 92 is something between 9 and 10. Like 9.1, 9.2, 9.3, 9.8, 9.7. It's one of those decimals. It is our job to figure out which decimal it is. So here we go. Once again, you have city A, city B, city A, city B, okay? How many spaces is 92 to 81? So you just subtract the numbers, so that's 9, 10, 11. That's 11 spaces. That's over 11 blocks, 11 blocks that the square root of 92 has to walk. But look over here, the square root of 92 only has to walk 8 blocks if it wants to come over here. You always want to pick the shortest distance. So would you want to go to the city on the left or the city on the right? I would pick the city on the right. This guy right here. So there you go. This one, the answer, any of these decimals that are right here, I didn't write the decimals, but you should know that this is 9.6, 9.7, 9.8, 9.9. Any of those answers are correct. Once again, you're just estimating. You're just approximating. You don't want an exact answer. So the square root of 92 is equal to 9.6. Don't forget, it's actually positive negative. I forgot to mention that on the previous problem. Or square root of 92 is also approximately 9.7, positive negative. Square root of 92 is also approximately positive negative 9.8. Square root of 92 is also approximately 9.9. Any of these answers are correct, but let's be smart. Is a square root of 92 very, 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 very close to 100? Not really. It's 8 spaces away, so I wouldn't pick 9.9, and probably I wouldn't pick 9.8. So the best choices, or the best guess, will either be 9.6 and 9.7. Positive negative 9.6 or positive negative 9.7. That is a perfect estimate for the square root of 92. Once again, this is how you estimate non-perfect square roots using a number line. Let's do one more. Pretty easy, right? Once you get the hang of it, it's easy. But again, the hardest part is you need to memorize these. If you don't have these memorized, of course this is going to be difficult. Okay, let's do another one. Let's do square root of 82. Yeah, that was one of your questions. It's one of the bottom ones. Okay, here we go. Do you know what first of all, ask yourself, do you know what the square root of 82 is? Not really, right? It's not on the list. So what you need to do is draw a number line. Okay, we're going to draw a number line. This is called a non-perfect square root. Okay, it's a non-perfect square because you don't have two numbers that are the same. That will give you the number inside the square root. Okay, this is also known as an irrational number for that given reason. Okay, so if you had the power to put the square root of 82 between two square roots that you know, where would you put it? Should I put it between 1 and 4? No. Square root of 82 is not between those two numbers. 9 and 16? No. How about 25 and 36? Not really. 44 and 49 and 64? We're getting close, but no. But how about 64 and 81? No, because 82 is not between 64 and 81. 81 and 100. That one. So we have the square root of 81 and the square root of 100. There you go. Square root of 81 is 9. Square root of 100 is 10. What's between 9 and 10? Well, it's 9.5. So therefore, the answer needs to be between those two square roots. I've always picked the 81 and 100. We did that one. I did. Come on, Hernandez. Don't worry, we'll do another one. Okay. So the square root of 81 is 9. The square root of 100 is 10. Now, now let's start looking at distances. Some of you guys don't even need distances. Some of you guys already, the answer is going to be on the left side, the left city, because 82 is more closer to 81. But just double check. From 82 to 81 is 1 space, but from 82 to 100 is 18 spaces. Heck no, I don't want to go to the city to the right. So I pick this city right here, okay? So I can pick any number like such as 9.1, 9.2, 9.3, 9.4. Any of those numbers work. So the square root of 82 is approximately 9.1. Square root of 82 is approximately 9.2. Square root of 82 is approximately 9.3. Square root of 82 is approximately positive negative 9.4. Great choices, because you're just estimating. But if you want an exact answer, think about it. Is the square root of 82 very close to 81? It's very, very, very close. So I wouldn't pick 9.4. 9.4 is so far away. I wouldn't pick 9.3. My choices could be 9.1 or 9.2. Those will be the best estimate choices. Okay? I'm going to do one more because I feel like I always got the square root of 81 and the square root of 100. Okay? So let's do one more. You're welcome. 4 problems at home. I did 4 problems in class plus 4 more. That's 8. That means you only have to do the other half by yourself. Let's do a simple one. Nah, not that simple. Square root of 29. Okay. Is the square root of 29 in your list? Nah, it's not in your list. So you have to draw a number line. That means that square root is irrational because you don't have a perfect answer right away. So let's do the number line. Square root of 29 is between 1 2 square roots. Between 1 and 4? Nah. 4 and 9? No. 9 and 16? Not close. 16 and 25? We're getting there, but no. How about 25 and 36? That's the answer. So it's between the square root of 25 and the square root of 36. Okay? The square root of 25 is 5, while the square root of 36 is 6. Okay? What's in between 5 and 6? 5.5. So my answer should be in between those two, between 5 and 6. Okay? So now let's look at your distances. From 29 to 25, there's about 4 spaces. From 29 to 36, and in class I was like, hey, if you already know it goes that way, you could stop. Too many. I said that in class. It's too many spaces. But to be exact, it's actually 7. Okay? So what I would actually pick this city on the left. So I could pick any number such as 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, or 5.4. Once again, square root of 29 is about 5.1. Also approximately 5.2. Approximately 5.3. Or approximately 5.4. Any of these answers are good, but let's just use common sense. Square root of 29, is it really? It's close to 25, but it's not that close. So I wouldn't pick 5.1, okay? I would actually pick, this is your judgment call, maybe 5.3, 5.4. Hey, if you pick 5.2, that's even good too. Again, we're approximating. We don't want an exact answer. So ladies and gentlemen, this is how you pretty much find the square root of any number using the number line method. Again, the biggest thing is you need to memorize your square roots because on a test or a quiz, you're not going to have those, okay? So once again, if you need help, rewind the video, watch the 4 problems that we did today in class, and I'll see you on the next video.